Hello everybody, in today's daily video I'm going to reverse engineer the January Barometer 2026, meaning that I'm going to anticipate what the S&P 500 is going to do throughout 2026, and I'm going to assume that the January Barometer is going to show something similar, and based on that I'm going to project for you how S&P 500 is going to move in January 2026, which is this month. Before I get to it, let me just have a few words to the January Barometer of 2025. So that's these white lines. I know there is probably too many lines, but I can make it better for you. So these white lines was the January Barometer 2025. Again, this was made at the start of February. So in this point, actually, these lines, these white lines were made, okay? And after they've been made, just the first quarter, it was unbelievable success. I mean the second quarter, first and the second quarter, because the January Barometer, the lines, as you can see, these white lines, they basically did predict a sharp correction and sharp recovery. Then they predicted shock correction in October, which did not happen. The only thing that happened was the China tariff, and that was only 1 day, 3%, it was nothing. But it was just a little bit scare. Then they predicted basically there's going to be some correction in November. That was, around 5 to 6%. And then, of course, it predicted even the sell-off at the end of December, which is also what happened, even though it was just a few percent. So, with this tremendous, this is not, by the way, how the January Barometer how accurate it should be. This is way actually. It was more accurate than it was supposed to be. So keep this in mind, that it's not supposed to be that good. But what if the January Barometer for 2026 is going to be this good again? So based on my work, on the confluence of my research that I have behind me, and also the research of others, I've just shared the bar chart research. Basically, they have noticed that this is on the third time in a history where S&P 500 has third consecutive year 15% or more, and that the two other times was just before the dot-com collapse. That was number one, and number two was in 2019, 20, and 2021. So these 3 years, and then we had the 2022. So there is just so much research that is showing me that there is going to be a correction next year, and it's going to be kind of boring year for the most part. Q2, Q3, and based on that, I am predicting that during this January, because the January Barometer, I'm going to be assuming it's going to work again. Based on that, S&P 500 should go up to about 7th of January, okay, to mirror what is going to be happening likely during the first quarter of this year. Then it should be correcting around the 10th of January. It should be correcting, and it should correct something like this. And then it should have attempt for the recovery. And then it should have actually the bottom. The January should bottom around the 21st, 22nd, which should basically mirror that near the end of the Q3, I believe, is going to be the bottom for this year. And then we are going to have a very strong last week of January. I drew it like this, although maybe this should be higher. Maybe it should be like this. Maybe this should be higher like this to 7,100 or something like that. So this is basically my reverse engineering of the January Barometer 2026.